They were meant to protect the game, but they sold it. In the heart of Turkey, where football is more than a sport, where every whistle carries the heartbeat of millions, something unthinkable happened. The guardians of fairness, the men in black, the referees themselves, turned traitors. More than 150 referees' names trusted for years have been caught in a storm of illegal betting, accused of gambling on the very matches they controlled. Imagine this: every goal, every red card, every offside, all possibly decided not by truth, but by money? Turkish football fans call it the darkest night in their history. A scandal so deep, it shook the foundation of trust that holds the beautiful game together. This isn't just a story about corruption. It's about betrayal, about how greed destroyed the purity of the sport we love. Tonight, we uncover how the system collapsed, who was behind the chaos, and why the truth was hidden for so long. This is the story of Turkish football's darkest scandal. Every great scandal begins in silence. Long before the world found out, small whispers echoed through the stadium tunnels of Turkey. Players complained. Coaches questioned. Fans sensed something wrong. It all started quietly: one missed penalty here, one strange red card there. At first, it looked like human error because referees, after all, are only human. But soon, the pattern grew too clear to ignore. Matches that should have been fair suddenly turned into chaos. Underdogs were winning against all odds, not because they played better, but because someone wanted them to. Behind the curtains, a secret web of betting accounts was forming. Referees, assistant officials, even match observers' names that once symbolized integrity were now linked to online gambling rings. They thought no one would ever notice. They thought they were untouchable, but money always leaves a trail, and soon, data analysts and journalists began to see the cracks betting patterns that matched referee decisions. Odds shifting seconds before critical fouls. It was no longer coincidence, it was control. Inside the Turkish Football Federation, suspicion started growing. An internal audit was launched quietly, secretly to avoid public chaos. But when the results came out, even the officials couldn't believe what they saw. Over 150 referees had either placed bets themselves or were directly connected to betting networks. Some used fake identities. Others had family members doing it for them. The system that was supposed to protect the sport had become its own enemy. For years, Turkish football had fought to earn global respect, producing legends, filling stadiums, and building passion that rivaled Europe's greatest leagues. But now, all of that was collapsing under one word: corruption. Fans who once cheered every whistle now doubted every call. Every referee's gesture felt tainted. Every match, no matter how beautiful, carried the stench of suspicion. And yet amidst the darkness, there were still those who wanted the truth. Honest officials, brave insiders, anonymous whistleblowers who risked everything to expose what was happening behind the scenes. Their courage would soon bring the scandal into the light. But what came next wasn't justice. It was chaos. Because once the truth escaped, the entire football system of Turkey would tremble. The truth didn't come out softly, it exploded. It started with one anonymous file. A simple USB drive dropped into the hands of an investigative journalist in Istanbul. Inside that drive were betting logs, thousands of entries each line, connecting a referee's ID to a gambling account. At first, the journalist thought it was fake, but the deeper he went, the darker it got. The data matched perfectly with official match reports. Yellow cards, penalties, offside goals. Every critical decision had a betting trace behind it. Then came the leak. On a quiet Monday morning, Turkish media woke up to a headline that froze the entire nation. Referees under investigation for match fixing and betting on league games. Within hours, social media caught fire. Fans demanded answers. Clubs pointed fingers. Even the government stepped in, calling it a national embarrassment. The Turkish Football Federation couldn't stay silent anymore. A special task force was formed. Investigators raided offices, confiscated phones, seized computers, and what they found changed everything. Over 150 referees, from the lowest division to the Super League, had active or linked betting accounts. Some had placed bets worth just a few $100s. Others had gambled entire salaries. Screenshots, transaction histories, and encrypted messages began to surface. Referees discussing odds before games. Officials who once preached integrity, and a system that might have been corrupted far deeper than anyone imagined, and shattered. Supporters tore up match tickets, burned referee flags, and swore never to watch again. The betrayal was too personal, too deep. Inside the Turkish Football Federation, panic ruled. Phones rang endlessly. Officials resigned overnight. Investigators were working day and night, chasing trails that led to powerful names people once considered untouchable. Some referees broke down and confessed. Others vanished, deleting their social accounts, going into hiding. One even claimed he was just following orders. The government stepped in, demanding accountability. Parliament members called emergency sessions. The sports ministry released a statement calling it a disgrace that has stained the nation's honor. Clubs demanded justice. Players who had fought with passion for their badge were furious. "How can we compete," one captain said, "when the game itself is fixed?" Internationally, the scandal spread faster than any headline could contain. UEFA called for transparency. FIFA demanded reports. Other leagues started investigating their own referees, fearing the rot might not be limited to Turkey alone. Turkish football had turned into a storm, not of passion, but of pain. And amidst that chaos stood millions of fans, heartbroken, silent, confused. The game that gave them joy now gave them doubt. Every whistle reminded them of betrayal. Every victory felt meaningless. But in the ashes of that despair, a small flame still burned the belief that truth, no matter how late, had to come out. And yet, behind closed doors, whispers continued. Some said the list of 150 referees wasn't complete. That bigger names, the ones with power and protection, were still hiding in the shadows. The storm wasn't over, it was just beginning. When the dust began to settle, people believed the worst was over. But the truth was far darker than anyone imagined. Investigators, digging deeper into the betting records, uncovered a pattern, not chaos, but coordination. The scandal wasn't the work of a few greedy referees. It was an entire network, carefully built and protected from the inside. Emails, hidden messages, encrypted payments, all leading to one shocking conclusion: platforms. It wasn't just a scandal, it was an empire built on deceit. Another reporter's car was vandalized. The message was clear: could the game ever be trusted again? In the end, football didn't lose because of a goal. It lost because of trust. The referee determined to clean the mess their predecessors left behind. Fans slowly began to return, not for money, not for fame. And this might be the beginning of Turkey's redemption.